Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to our session. This is Beyond the Code, the human side of tech. I wanted to kick off this by saying, we're going to have a discussion about some of the essential roles that are not tech specific, and how we kind of drive that innovation within the tech industry. Because I think for the most part, when we think about tech jobs, we always think about software engineers, anybody working on product. So it's very important for us to see the other side of the business, the ones that keep the company moving forward, the lights on. So we have people that work in finance and payroll and HR, marketing, sales, compliance, legal, all of the unsung heroes of the tech industry that often get overlooked, but are often operating behind the scenes to make sure that the product is moving forward. So with us, I have a few individuals that work in non-tech specific roles. So I am going to give them a minute to introduce themselves, and I'm going to pass it over to Noelia.
Yeah, well, thank you, Jesse, and thank you everyone for joining us today. We are so excited that we are able to share that knowledge with you guys. My name is Noelia. I met Jesse and Joaquin at Meta originally, and I was a tech sourcer. Currently, I am working for a gas and electric corporation in Northern California. I am a operational specialist, so I deal a lot with contracts and that customer service that we want to really make sure that it's right. Um, I want to give it up to Mari to go ahead and introduce herself.
Sure. Hi, everybody. I'm so happy to be here with everybody today. You can call me Mari. Mariana Vasconcelos seems too formal, but it's the way that you're going to find me on LinkedIn. But please call me Mari. I am currently a project manager working with this blend on marketing and technology to create innovation in Fortune 500 clients and companies. But if you asked me 5 years ago that I was gonna working on tech, I probably would say that you were crazy and laughing about it because my background is actually on law. I have a bachelor, so I spent 6 years of my life working and research about corporate law. And was only during my graduation thesis that I start to research about the future of labor and start to research about technology and realize, oh my God, this is so cool. There is another way of living that is not related to law. And then I ended up working in a startup, growing my career into this point where I have a global position. But it was a very colorful trajectory that we are going to speak a little about today. But something that I've learned is that everybody that makes technology is important on the process. And our differentiation is this creativity that comes from background. That's something that I've learned. So, and I'm super happy that I'm able to share a little of this trajectory with you guys today. So I'm calling Joaquin next.
Thank you. Thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm excited to be here, first of all, and to talk about tech and the other side of tech that are not tech jobs. Well, technically they are, but I'm Joaquin Benavente. I am a senior brand manager, employer brand manager at Thermo Fisher Scientific. Previously, I was at Meta, where I met Noelia and Jesse as well. And yeah, I'm located in the Bay Area.
Thank you, Joaquin. And I'm Jesse Duran Pietros. I am a payments program manager for Lead Bank. I work in the payments field, so I have a lot of knowledge in the compliance field, AML, BSA, privacy. I've been doing this job for quite a while, but it's very interesting and it's very niche. And with fintechs and MSPs, it's been very I guess you would say joyful kind of be in this space because there's always innovation. There's always ways to try to push payments forward for individuals. I mean, just in WhatsApp, just using payments in certain countries to make orders through through companies like a 7-Eleven type brick and mortar store. It was a very interesting experience experience for me, and right now working in lead bank to kind of push forward the fintech and digital asset space forward, on how on ramps and off ramps for payment rails can look like in the industry. Um, so very excited to be here and discuss our very different backgrounds and how we kind of contribute to those innovations and keep pushing forward to it. So I guess my first question to the panel is, how do your respective roles directly impact the development of product and services? As you're not part of the product and engineering team, but how does your roles actually have an influence in pushing some of that forward so that you see your community expressed through your products? I'll pass it over to Mariana.
Oh, cool. I didn't expect to be the first one, but okay. Well, I can answer this question in two perspectives. The first one, in my role as a project manager, I feel that when you are a PM, you have the overview of the entire process of creating or implementing technology. So there is a lot of space where you can influence the decisions they are making in this space because you're working directly with the developed team. But mainly, I feel that as a PM in tech with a non-technical background, my key responsibility is to foster a culture of innovation where people are encouraged to make mistakes and but to learn from those mistakes, where they feel free to experiment and learn from those experimentation. And I see that in my day to day, there is this part of creating this innovation culture, but it's very hard because innovative approach, it is hard sometimes. But when it comes to the marketing perspective of my role, I see that my main goal, my main objective is related to creating and executing marketing initiatives. And technology in this space comes as a tool where I am able to create workflows that are automated, trying to reach the right person who are trying to target and make everything at making all these marketing initiatives grounded on technology. And just to give you an example of how I do this on my day to day, I was working at Creative Studio and then Gen AI came. Everybody's talking about it. And then my designers came to me and say, "Oh, this is so cool. Can I use it? It's going to save so much time for me." But at the same time, I have all these companies' policies that we have to follow, and we have to make sure that the technology is working to enhance the workflows that we have and work in favor of the company. So I see that in general, we have this space of fostering a culture of innovation, but also using technology as a way to innovate.
Yeah, thank you for that. And I think it's very important, like you mentioned, bringing in culture into that company, because I think that's how to market or express the product in a different market that's not the US or it's not an English-based language. Like it doesn't translate one-to-one every single time. So you kind of have to be innovative in the way that you're communicating product or service to that market. So I guess, Joaquin, same question to you. Like, how do you see your role kind of like pushing forward?
Yeah, I would say like although I'm not a recruiter, I help attract the people that work on our products, right? So I try to strategically position the company as an employer choice for underrepresented communities, helping attract a wide range of talent from engineers to lab technicians with marketing tactics. So, like by ensuring diverse perspective, we can create innovative products that serves everyone, not just one demographic. In addition to amplifying voices, I champion a company culture and in our social media channels because representation matters and it fosters connection. People want to see other people that look like them in the company that they're working on or trying to apply to. It entices them to be part of that organization, in my personal opinion. So I try to be purposeful when it comes to the marketing tactics or anything like that. I want to see more people that look like me in that space, especially if they're going to be working on products such as medicines or tech products here at Thermo Fisher.
And what would you say to people who maybe feel a little bit shy or a little uncomfortable when they see something that they want to push forward? They should, you know, raise it up to certain people to be like at least in their vicinity of thought.
I go back to like this saying that my grandma used to tell me. El que no pregunta pierde. Whoever doesn't ask loses. Just do that that initial connection. Like just ask. You're not going to lose anything, right? Like what's the worst thing that can happen? Somebody's going to say no. Someone's not going to help you. But in the other side of that, yes, there is going to be people that are going to want to help you. So my motto is el que no pregunta pierde. So I'm going to ask.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's hard for some of us to speak up sometimes. But I think if you have a question and you have a doubt, it's most likely somebody else on your team or somebody else in the organization also has it.
Yeah,
Um,
100%.
and Noelia, I think you had a little bit more experience on the front lines of like getting people in the door, sort of say. So how do you see your role kind of contributing to the culture and contributing to like the innovation of products and services?
Yeah, so in the time that I was working, or at that particular role, I was really focusing on what is all diversity, equity, and inclusion. I would actually use just applications that will really help me find those hidden gems, those transferable skills. Talking to people who actually also, because I migrated from Peru here to the States, so a lot of them migrating or thinking about it, or they were just putting their application to us, and reached out to them after looking at their resume, and they were shocked many times to get my phone call. They're like, "You understand me?" It is like, and I said, "Yeah, I exactly understand where you're coming from. Wait, you did what?" And I said, "Yeah, just like you." And even if sometimes we didn't go through the full cycle, um, they express a lot of, I guess, satisfaction, because they said, I never thought someone who has been such a pleasure to work with will work for this type of company, where not only I know that I'm supporting the tech, but you're so human. And I said, yeah, it's like that humanity. And they're like, wow, I love it. So it was just also a change of like, if I can make it, you can make it. And basically, your biggest enemy is yourself. Don't stop there, right? Like, keep going. Um, if you have questions, you guys know you guys have us here now, but like, don't limit yourself. And that was basically with every person I was talking to. I was like, you might not be quite there, but I know you can do it. You're already in the path. If I'm here, you're here. So let's keep working on it. And that motivates.
Yeah, I actually like that story because like when I applied to be a Meta, I applied 3 times before I was even considered for an interview. And I think for most people, the rejection is the easiest thing to kind of put you back and go, oh yeah, like they didn't want me. But it's like not connecting with the right people. It's not having an inside reference, knowledge of like how the system actually works within an organization. So when I finally was able to get an interview, I was reaching out to people and asking for like feedback, like, hey, this is the interview process for XYZ. How can I kind of stand out from other candidates? And then I kind of wanted to follow up with you, Nelia, with like how often did you see individuals reapply for the same position or different positions to the organization, and you're kind of like seeing that and kind of maybe helping them push forward, like where in the organization can actually land.
Yeah, so I had candidates who would I reapply in like 3 months, and I reapplied in 6 months. And I will usually tell them like, you know what, for example, if it was their first time, they were not able to reapply until like 6 months or a year. But I did, because I could see how eager they were to learn more, and I will let them know like, hey, so this is what we are currently looking at, this type of skill sets. There's a lot of classes about this and that. We even tried during the interview process for them to actually have a talk to a software engineer, to kind of give them, like their own experience. So we really, really try to go out of our way to make sure that, hey, this is the company that, could potentially be your, I don't know, your family or, your team. And why not, like, get to know it? You don't have to wait until get here to get to know who you're going to work with. So that that type of care, they were, I didn't know this company cared for us so much. And I said, yeah, they do. So it was just, I took pride of.
And was it just the company, or was it you? To actually
Customers, it is expected, at least for me, to go the extra mile. So but it's satisfying, right? Like Joaquin said, that going out of your way to make sure that because we were in those shoes before, like, what? Posh, like, no, I would never, like, me, what? And so to break that, it was kind of like, wow, this is my American dream, right? This is my Latina dream. This is my Latino dream. This is the Latinx dream, right? So it's kind of like, it was really breaking the barriers, but also giving those resources back to the community. It was beautiful.
Yeah, definitely.
And I want to add like a note, like it's super important to have people that look like us in the development of these tech products and services. I remember at a company that I used to work in, without mentioning it, they didn't have people of color dog fooding their product. That when it came to a person of color testing it, once it was released, it did not work. Like the eye tracking did not work because of their the color of their skin. So we always need to have a seat at the table, because not only does it hurt the company, it makes them look really bad and not inclusive. So it's important to have, in the development of these products, people of color. We need to be there.
Oh, definitely.
Oh, yes, I can relate on that.
If I may add to this discussion, we are talking a lot about the hiring process, but I also know that it's important to make sure that the person who got in the company feel comfortable and find a community there where you have a space to share your mind, to share ideas, and you are going to feel listened. And I feel, at least for me, when I go to the office and I find people who look like me, I feel more comfortable to be myself and to be to be a whole in my role. So that's very important for me.
Yeah, definitely. And that kind of brings me to our next point of the conversation is, how we're kind of adapting in this space post affirmative action struck down by the Supreme Court, where a lot of companies are no longer required to create that safe space for us in the industry, and we've seen it affect largely people of color. Of initiatives that are being implemented. So, Joaquin, you kind of touched on this in saying that you want to be like, you want every action that you can take to mean something, to have like some sort of impact. So in the face of this new reality, I kind of want to toss this out to the group and saying, like, how do you kind of approach the way that you're doing your work now, so that you're making sure that you're making an inclusive environment, and people feel safe advocating or speaking up for product changes or innovations that are going to help our community?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to continue with like amplifying diverse employee voices on my end because um, the, it's actively engaging employees from various backgrounds in the product development process, gathering their input, incorporating their perspectives to ensure that our products met the needs of diverse user groups, like as I was mentioning earlier, but also identifying opportunities where I can be present and focus on identifying strategic opportunities where our presence can drive inclusivity, such as attending conferences, events, trade shows, and networking sessions that target underrepresented communities. So that is like the way I tend to go about things when affirmative action is not present anymore. Um, so yeah, and then an easy win when you're like applying for roles is like that referral process
Yeah.
of like making sure you reach out to your network and be like, hey, can I get a referral from you? Again, que no pregunta pierde. What's the worst that can happen? No, that's the worst that can happen.
Yeah, definitely. And I think for us, at least in this space, we found like spaces like Techqueria, and then within the organizations, I know when we were working at Meta, we had Latin at where we built our community. We were trying to build a strategic way for the company to see us for the community and being able to be impactful contributors to products. So to Nelia's point, when we did testing for certain products and fucking just being able to get people in the door and like conversing with them and like kind of pushing your way into the conversation, but feeling and having that community behind you and standing behind you just felt a little bit more impactful and powerful for us, so that we're not the only ones advocating in a silo.
Yeah, and it makes your job a lot more like you want to be there. I remember you created Latinat Pride because I'm Latino and gay. Double whammy for y'all. But when I found that the previous company that I was in had a Latino and queer community space for people that work there, it made me so much more excited. And I actually wanted to go to the office to be around these people because they were all bright, I think. So, yeah.
Yeah, so funny story, Joaquin and I actually co-founded the Latinx at Pride group.
Fun times.
Yes. And you're right. It does make the job more enjoyable knowing that, you can come into work and have that community behind you and you have some of the same battles to fight, but you're not fighting them alone.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I think we were the only ones going into the office because we wanted to be around each other.
Yeah, so Marian or Mari?
Yeah.
So,
So I feel that it's important to refer your community. And back to the point where Techqueria, we have an amazing Slack group where you can share the open positions at your company. And I feel this might be an easy way to find and to foster this innovation culture that we're talking about that starts with inclusion. And if you haven't checked it out, check it out. This like channel, it's amazing, and you definitely can share things that.
yeah, that's awesome. And I guess the biggest question to you guys is, I know I still suffer from imposter syndrome. How often do you guys suffer through that?
Oh my God,
Every
I can
day.
feel we all have something to say about it. Noradia, please go first.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
I was like, I can't believe it. I was like, what is this? Like, have I ever doubted? Yes, absolutely. Do I have imposter syndrome? Yes, those feelings are real. But I think it's also because for many years we were also told or influenced to think that where opportunities were not meant for us, right? Where people like us were not in the positions that we are right now. Like right now, if you haven't already realized it, you have an amazing group of people right in front of you. They are genuine, they're real, they are your people, they represent you. And that is something that it's shocking. But the difference is that when we doubt, we don't back out. We push forward, right? And that is secret. It's like, no tires la toalla cuando quieras empezar. Like, don't throw the towel when you haven't even started. Like, throw it, but throw it forward so you can move forward because you do deserve it. And that's the mentality that I learned too, where it's like, I deserve this. And knowing that, it's so beautiful because you know your value as a person and also your career and in your life. So if you guys want to
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would say imposter syndrome happens every day to me. Like a good example was today I was creating copy and I was so insecure about it because my first language is actually Spanish. And I'm like, this is not that strong. Like, I feel like somebody else can do a better job at this. I sent it to my manager and she was like, this is great. And I was like, really? And she's like, why are you doubting yourself? I'm like, I mean, I didn't say it's because my first language is Spanish, but I was like, no, I mean, it's, I feel like it could be stronger. And she was like, this is great. Stop doubting yourself. You are good. I hired you for a reason. You bring a specific skill set that got you this job. You just have to believe in yourself.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I think that's the hardest thing for us to remember sometimes, especially when we're right in the middle of it.
Definitely.
Yeah, you have to fight those little voices and keep remembering that you got hired for a reason. Si se puede, you can do it.
So for the people that are looking for non-technical jobs in the tech field, I guess what would be your words of inspiration or some guidance that you would give them?
That's
Anybody?
a good question. Start from learning the process and start understanding that it's not going to be an easy process, but you are worth it. It is a process that you can live and you'll be able to go with through. So I would say start simple, reach out to your own community, find me on LinkedIn, find those amazing people on LinkedIn, reach out to this, hey, I want to start. How can I do? This is my background. How do you think that I can leverage those skills in my next position in tech? Where are the possibilities that have in tech for them? So start reaching our community. It is a great first step for you to understand what is the process going to be ahead of you.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, 100% that. Network, reach out to your community. Yeah, network, reach out to your community, and don't be afraid to ask for help. I feel like everyone here at some point has helped other people get into the shoes that they're currently on. And last but not least, of course, el que no pregunta pierde, ask. Just ask. Go for it. You have nothing to lose. If anything, if you take anything from this conversation, is ask for help. El que no pregunta pierde. Just remember that.
That's what
Yes, I mean, technically my grandma's, because she told me that, but yes.
I love this. I'm going to have a t-shirt saying that now. That is my new motto. I stole it from grandma.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much. We appreciate everybody coming in, sharing your wisdom. I know I appreciate it very much. I love working with all of you guys. It was great catching up. And we'll see everybody in the conference.
Yeah. Bye, guys.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.